Ladies and gentlemen, it's your week 9 buy lows. Let's go and win some leagues. All right, let's get into our week 9 buy lows. It's a little bit later on in the week, but no less important. Let's go and get some value for guys that are currently underperforming that I think can turn things around quickly to help you win your leagues. Let's get into it. Before we get into my favorite buy lows of the week, let's firstly check out the top 10 Yahoo most
traded players.
Starting with Ja Morant, missed yesterday's game with an ankle injury. I don't expect it to be a long-term absence. However, he is being traded left, right, and center. Very much underperformed for the entire season. However, I think there is an opportunity for him to obviously improve his gameplay. Memphis are looking pretty good, but they've probably performed a lot better without Ja Morant in the lineup. Had a win yesterday. Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. has played a lot better, but keep your eye out for Ja Morant. You could probably get him for chips at the moment. Number 2 is Pascal Siakam. Number 3, Kevin Durant. At number 4, Miles Turner. Pretty much a bust this season, which is extremely disappointing. New team. However, I do think there is an opportunity for you to buy low on Miles Turner as well. He's not in the guys that I'm discussing thoroughly tonight, but still a buy low nonetheless. Josh Hart's playing good basketball at the moment. He's at number 5. Number 6 is Devin Booker. Came back from injury. It looked okay. Number 7, Paolo Banchero. Now, he is someone that I will be focusing a little bit of attention on tonight. Number 8, LeBron James. He was on our buy low show a couple weeks ago, and he's definitely turned things around. It has helped that Austin Reeves has been absent the last few games as well. But LeBron James is, I won't say back to his best, but definitely looking a lot better than where he was 2 to 3 weeks ago. Number 9 is the aforementioned Jaren Jackson Jr. The last 2 games have been massive, so it's actually probably a sell high opportunity, to be honest. But it's great to see him performing at a lot higher level. And number 10, to round out the top 10 on our Yahoo most traded plays, is Jamal Murray. He's performing at a top 20 clip at the moment, and top 11 to 12 in the last fortnight as well. So he's having a tremendous season. One of my guys come into this season, so it was nice to get that one right. Now, getting into my favorite buy lows, starting with Tyler Herro. Obviously started the season injured, so his ADP fell. He was one of the guys that I was targeting sort of in the mid to late rounds as someone who I think had some nice upside, almost top 25 to top 30 upside. And I still believe that. Across the first 6 games of the season, he's actually shown that he's been a fantastic fantasy contributor. 21st in 9-cat across those 6 games, 27th in 9-cat -1, and 53rd in points leagues. Not as effective in points leagues, but still nonetheless having a pretty decent season. Now, in the last 2 weeks, I know it hasn't been that many games. It's only been 1 game. So just be mindful of that. He has missed a couple of games. There's been toe contusions. So don't think that that is too serious. I don't think it's too serious, but it does present an opportunity for you to buy a low. If someone was to look at the rankings over the last 2 weeks, and again, just a game, 1 game sample, 181st in 9-cat, 178th in -1, and 73rd in points leagues. You can attribute that just to poor shooting from the field. Everything else, not too bad. He's not hitting his threes because of the poor shooting. Everything else seems to be pretty much on par. The assists aren't coming. We do have Davion Mitchell on that team, which has helped the Miami Heat. But it's meant that Tyler Herro has to do less facilitating. He's still a good off-ball guard nonetheless. So I still think it's a great buy low opportunity. You guys have asked for it. Now, here's some examples, some trades that have happened in the last 24 hours for Tyler Herro. I've highlighted some of the 1-for-1s because fantasy format is not stipulated in these. This is straight from the Yahoo trade market. But Tyler Herro's gone 1-for-1 for Derek Queen. I don't know about you, but I'm taking Tyler Herro in that situation. I love Derek Queen's upside. I'm probably one of the most or one of his biggest fans at the moment, but I'm still taking Tyler Herro over Queen. Let me know what you think. If you take Queen, I sort of get it, but I still believe that Tyler Herro can be that top 30 to 40 guy rest of the season in category leagues. Another 1-for-1, Tyler Herro for Nick Claxton. Be mindful of the Nets as well. Claxton's having a fantastic bounce back season, but it's the Nets. MPJ is another situation with the Nets. I think they will start tanking towards the end of the season. So it is a bit of a sell high for Nick Claxton and MPJ. I'm still taking Tyler Herro easily over Claxton. And another peculiar one is Tyler Hero for Dylan Harper. That could actually be a dynasty format. I don't think that would be a redraft. I don't think anyone would be silly enough to do that trade. However, I have seen some pretty crazy, insane trades recently on Yahoo. But that looks to me like a dynasty format. Let me know what you think, but I think Dylan Harper is a top 30 dynasty asset. Tyler Hero is probably around the same. So I think that's a fair one if it is truly a dynasty format. Another one for one, Tyler Hero for Cade Cunningham. That's insane. That's egregiously wrong. You don't veto that. I hate vetoes because of that, unless there is collusion. However, that is a very one-sided trade. And the last one I wanted to highlight is Tyler Hero for Jimmy Butler. I'm going to go through some Jimmy Butler numbers later on because I think he's a buy low as well. But just because of the history of Jimmy Butler missing some games down the back end of seasons, I'm still leaning towards Tyler Hero, but I can see Jimmy Butler being probably a better roto play if that's the format as well. But let me know what you think of some of those trades as well. Paolo Banchero is the next one. I spoke about him last week on the Buy Low show. He still remains a buy low. And I think that with Franz Wagner sidelined, it's just a matter of time that he's going to explode. Franz isn't going to miss a great deal of time, a few weeks, 1 to 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. But Paolo Banchero will come back with a vengeance, particularly in points leagues. Category leagues, we know about his deficiencies in category leagues. And we've seen that, particularly in the last couple of weeks. Just the shooting from the field has been even less than what we expect from Paolo Banchero. And if anything, the free throws have been not too bad for Paolo. Having said that, I still think he's a buy low. All his numbers can come up, particularly with greater usage with Franz sideline. So expect Paolo Banchero uptick over the next few weeks. The third guy I want to look at is Jalen Duren. Fantastic season so far, but in the last 2 weeks, in 9-cat, 137th. In 9-cat minus 1, 130th. When you compare that across the season, where he's 55th in 9-cat standard and 47th in minus 1, definitely a bit of a drop-off. He gets into a little bit of foul trouble, and he's somewhat been all right at the start of the season. Recently been in a little bit of foul trouble, but the main difference is the shots, which has led to lower points as well. So the field goal attempts has been less in the last fortnight, as well as the points, of course. Everything else seems to be okay. The last week, obviously, there's been a reduction in the rebounds, but of course, a 2-game sample is something that you can't really look into a great deal. But again, there are some fantasy managers that do look at the immediate recency in terms of games as well. So 2 games for me is not enough sample size, but some people do look at the most recent games as well. So that could present an opportunity in your league. He's still a buy low. I think he's going to be an easy top 60 type of play rest of the season in both cats and points leagues. Next one is the aforementioned Jimmy Butler. Having a good season. He's actually been available and somewhat durable as well. He's played 23 games so far this season, which is really good for Jimmy Butler. But the last couple of weeks has been somewhat disappointing. He's been 75th 9-cat ranked player in the last 2 weeks compared to 27th across the course of the season. Again, a great roto play, like I said before. A little bit mindful of him in head-to-head, but we know of his pedigree. We know what he can do on a per-game basis. And 75th in 9-cat standard and 9-cat minus 1 is 88th. He's about the same in points leagues, 40th across the last fortnight, 38th across the entire season. And we put that down to the field goal percentage. So over the last 2 weeks, he's nowhere near what we used to. We're used to seeing Jimmy at around that 50% mark. He doesn't shoot a great deal of threes, and he's still not, but he's just not hitting those shots from the field. That should easily turn around. He's getting more steals, actually, per game across the last fortnight. So that's Boyd, or Boyd as North Americans like to say, his value in the last 2 weeks, but it's the points, it's the field goal percentage that has let him down. So I think this is a good opportunity to buy low on Jimmy Butler III. And looking at Tyler Hero's teammate, Norman Powell, what a tremendous start to the season. And you could attribute a lot of that because of Tyler Hero's absence as well. But I still expect Norman Powell to be a lot better than this over the last 2 weeks. Over the last fortnight, 149th in 9-cat, 166th in minus 1, 70th in points. And that's not too bad. That's not it's not too much of a drop off compared to the rest of the season. Again, in category leagues, you put that down to the field goal percentage. You can see on the screen there for those watching at home on YouTube. Field goal percentage of 43.4% over the last 2 weeks. Even worse in the last week. Again, that's just one game as well, but that has dinged his value, which presents itself a nice buy low opportunity. I think he gets that back. Like I said, I don't think Tyler Herro misses too much time. He's going to miss tomorrow's game, but I think Norman Powell does have a bounce back. So expect him to have a easy top 100 ranking rest of season. Definitely beats what he's done in the last 2 weeks. So buy low on Norman Powell. Some other buy lows. Jarrett Allen just came back from injury. Evan Mobley is sidelined at the moment. Jarrett Allen has been outside the top 200 in the last fortnight. Hasn't played all that much. He's been outside the top 100 in 9K as well, which is a little bit surprising, but we actually predicted a little bit of a drop off this season because we saw the ascension of Evan Mobley and some of these other younger guys as well stepping up. But with Evan Mobley sidelined for the next couple of weeks, I expect Jarrett Allen to play more minutes and get a little bit more usage as well. He's going to get those big man stats while Evan Mobley is sidelined. We saw that Dean Wade fizzled out yesterday. I don't expect a great deal from their backup bigs either. So Jarrett Allen should step up at least in the next couple of weeks, and that should give him some momentum rest of season as well. Nikola Vucevic had a bit of a better game for the Bulls last night, as did Kobe White as well. Kobe White's not on this list, but he definitely was last week. But Nikola Vucevic has been extremely inconsistent just the last few weeks after a really hot start to the season. Right now, I think he is a buy low. But again, I have said this on previous shows as well. It would not surprise me. I know we've said it multiple times in the past, but it would not surprise me on this expiring contract. If things don't go well for the Bulls and it's sort of trending down, Vooch finds himself on another team, and I don't think that's good for his overall value. But right now, he's a buy low. Third guy, it's the pictured superstar, Luka Doncic. It's very difficult to buy low on someone who's a top 4 to 5 player in fantasy. But in the last couple of weeks, it's the field goal percentage that's really let him down. It's in the 30%. We expect closer to 50% from Luka. Everything else has been fine. Huge volume, good usage. Austin Reeves, sidelined as well, has boosted that usage alongside of LeBron James, but his shooting from the field has been somewhat disappointing. So again, if there's that little bit of an inkling that you could buy low on Luka, now is the time, because I don't think that continues moving forward. Next is Keegan Murray. Again, it comes down to the poor shooting. I expect him to have really massive usage on that Sacramento Kings team. His value has actually been buoyed in the last couple of games by some massive block games as well. 5 blocks in the last game for Keegan Murray, which has been great. But it's the shooting that has let him down in the last fortnight. That should come back up. Again, like I said, huge usage for Keegan Murray just because the Kings, we don't know what's going on. Are they going to blow it all up? I'm not so sure. Sabonis should be back in the next 1 to 2 weeks. So we'll see how things play out. But I think Keegan Murray right now is another buy low guy. Peyton Pritchard, he's been quite disappointing. We had high hopes for him, top 50, top 60 type of guy in category leagues is what we thought. He hasn't quite been there. He's been, again, quite inconsistent. We've seen him get 40-point games and then just go into a little bit of his shell as well. Jaylen Brown's had an outstanding season. Derek White, somewhat inconsistent, not as inconsistent as Peyton Pritchard. So again, Peyton Pritchard in the last couple of weeks hasn't shot the ball really well. The usage hasn't been at an all-time high. So I think this is a great time to buy low on the double P, Peyton Pritchard. Donovan Clingan missed a couple of games with the injury, and we saw Robert Williams really just show what he was made of. We know how good Robert Williams can be per game or per minute. He's a per-minute monster, but I still think that there is a buy low opportunity for Donovan Clingan. He's the first choice center. As much as we would like Robert Williams to have more time, I don't think Robert Williams is that durable. We know of the constant injuries, and I think that bodes well for Donovan Clingan. We were expecting him to play more minutes this season. Donovan Clingan is still being held back. He's not playing those 30-minute games that we would like him to see, because we know, again, very much a per-minute monster. His efficiency has been fantastic this season, even shooting some three-pointers, which has been great. The blocks have been okay in the last couple of games, but it's the scoring, it's the lack of field goal attempts, and of course the field goals made because of that. So I think Clingan is a buy low right now. Reed Sheppard, another guy that's been disappointing in the last couple of weeks. Again, he's just not getting the minutes. We could see Dorian Finney-Smith return to that Houston Rockets lineup as well, which could impact Reed Sheppard. But I still think we've seen what Reed Sheppard can do with the minutes. Even on less than 30 minutes, he's a top 100 guy. So I would love to throw my worst player out at that manager who does have Reed Sheppard, because I'd love to buy low on Reed Sheppard. One of my other buy lows. And finally, we spoke about Miles Turner, a bit of a bust this season. The blocks are okay. He's not putting up shots. The minutes are down. Again, similar to what I would do with Reed Sheppard, I'm throwing my worst player out, the manager that has Miles Turner, because it's a bit of a win-win. If you don't get him, fine, so be it. If you do get him, see what happens. And perhaps you can flip him once he does start stringing some nice games together. Perhaps when Giannis does return in 2 to 3 weeks' time, Miles Turner gets a little bit more confidence as well, and maybe a few more open shots, a bit of a bigger guy next to him as well. So Miles Turner, yeah, hugely disappointing season. Buy low on him, because I don't think it can get too much worse for him. And finally, just looking at some injury buy lows, Trae Young, questionable for tonight, which is very exciting. But have we sort of forgotten about Trae Young's importance to the Hawks? They've been fantastic. Jalen Johnson's been awesome. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's been awesome. Dyson Daniels has had an uptick in usage, shots, assists as well. So all of those guys will take a bit of a hit, but I still think Trae Young is somewhat being slept on. He's just missed so many games, 20-plus games he has missed. Perhaps you can still buy low. Difficult to do so because he is questionable. And we did mention Trae Young last week in the buy low show, but perhaps the manager's like, you know what, I just can't trust Trae. Perhaps there's an inkling that Atlanta Hawks don't need him on the team. So, yeah, some questions are raised in the manager or the fantasy manager's head around Trae Young. If that's the case, take full advantage. But that one is a difficult one to execute. Ja Morant, we spoke about him earlier on. Austin Reeves out. I think he comes back in the next few days. So if you can, buy low on Austin Reeves. But again, if the manager is switched on, they'll realize that Austin Reeves won't be out for too much longer. But just try. You just never know your luck, particularly if there's a manager that's struggling with a heap or a plethora of injuries. Particularly, you look down the list, if they've got multiple guys on this list, Austin Reeves, Drew Holiday, Franz Wagner, Jalen Green, Domantas Sabonis, Giannis, Evan Mobley, and Zach Edey, my boy Zach Edey. If they've got multiple guys on this list, then perhaps you take advantage of that. And again, if you're cruising, if you're doing well in your standings or you don't have that many injuries, perhaps take a punt on some of these injured guys as well, because we play for fantasy playoffs. Yes, you need to get there in the first place, but you need to take that chip. I don't like coming second or third in the championship race. I want to win it. So go and get these high upside guys. Do yourself a favor. You'll go and get that championship. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Week 9 buy lows. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel at NBA Fantasy Bible. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Believe in Fantasy Basketball. Shout out to Robin Marks and the team over at Believe. Go and check out BelieveInFantasy.com as well for all the best in fantasy basketball. But until next time, thanks, guys. See ya.